Whittier was established in 1887 by the Quakers, and here at the Whittier Museum, we tell that story. Now, this building that we're standing in was originally built in 1947 for General Telephone. It was their long-distance exchange. All the telephone calls leaving Los Angeles and all calls arriving in Los Angeles came through this building. Over here, we have a display dedicated to Harriet Russell Strong. Her and her family moved to the area in 1865, almost 20 years before there was a Whittier. They purchased their property directly from Pio Pico, the last Mexican governor of California. Okay, this is Whittier College. The classrooms were on the ground floor. Second floor was dormitories for the men, and the ceiling was so high they used to play basketball up there. This is a Queen Anne cottage. Queen Anne was a style of decorating your houses with fancy woodwork. Here is a typical kitchen from back in the day. You had a cast iron stove that burned coal. You always kept irons on the stove so they were hot and ready to iron things. We didn't have electricity till about 1903, so that was pretty traditional. And that wonderful little wire gizmo is a toaster. Mom would have had a pantry like this with her condiments and seasonings, a flour sifter, graters, mixing bowls, and a butter churn. Your job as a child might be to go churn the butter. You got butter as a heavy cream, and you would put it in there, crank the handle, and that would solidify the butter. On Saturday night, everybody in the family took a bath because Sunday you were going to church, and that's the bathtub. So you'd bring your tub in by the stove. It was the warmest place in the house. Heat your water, put it in the tub. Family took a bath. Dad first, then mother, and then the children in descending age. This is our barn. We built this from timber salvaged from a barn being dismantled here in town. We're very fortunate to get it. We have it filled with farming implements. Over here, rakes, woodworking tools, everything needed to keep the farm going. Now, in this room, we have a diorama of early Whittier, about 1910. And over here, in Murphy Ranch area, they discovered oil. So they discovered oil in the Whittier Hills way before it was discovered in nearby in Santa Fe Springs. Okay, now this is a model of a typical oil derrick from back in the day. They were all wood timbered. These were all over the Whittier Hills. And they've got a big gusher there. These are some of the different phones that were developed over the years. We have early phones here from the 1890s, various office desktop phones. Of course, a revolutionary one was the Princess phone that came in a color other than black in the 1950s. And here on our second floor, we have our main exhibit space for when we rotate exhibits. Right now, we have an exhibit on Boy Scouts of America. And this is our Richard Nixon room. Richard Nixon wasn't born in Whittier, but he grew up here. Richard attended Whittier High School and then attended Whittier College. Graduating, got his law degree and started practicing in the old Bank of America building. And then friends of his encouraged him to run for office, and the rest is history. And this exhibit is to Pio Pico. Pio Pico was born in the San Gabriel Mission area. He wound up owning about 20,000 acres of land, of which Whittier, Pico Rivera, and parts of Montebello were all part of. Pio Pico was the last governor of Alta California. He was given that position in 1845. Unfortunately for him, a few years later they discovered gold in Sutter's Creek and the state seceded from Mexico and became part of the United States. And this is a photograph looking north on Greenleaf Ave in 1902. We actually have concrete sidewalks and curbs, even though we have horses and buggies. In 1903, the very next year, the Pacific Electric arrives, And they build the tracks up Philadelphia Street, down Greenleaf to Penn, where they have a freight house. And by 1905, the street's paved in concrete. You don't see horses and buggies, you see horseless carriages. I hope you enjoyed your visit here to our Whittier Museum. Please come back and visit us and learn all the interesting facts of growing up and living in Whittier.